My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love and Sassy Seer Sheila, as this will be seen on both channels. This is Thought, Word, and Reality by Jason Gray. Awakening the Architect Within. What if I told you that you are not bound to a single timeline? That you are not simply a passive observer of reality, but the sculptor, the architect, the author of all that you perceive. You were never meant to be confined to the limitations imposed upon you by past beliefs, societal conditioning, or the rigid structures of logic. And I'm feeling to pause here and say, this is what I mean when I talk about my programming and conditioning. All of humanity's programming and conditioning. We've all had it. It began from the time we actually really entered the womb, and throughout the entire childhood is where most of for me, what I see as, especially here with the idea of rigid structures of logic, are installed. So back to Jason's writings. Reality is not a thing that happens to you. It is something that responds to you. Like the quantum wave before measurement, existence exists in a state of pure potential, infinite in its forms, undefined until the moment you decide to look. In that act of looking, thinking, speaking, and writing, you collapse all the infinite into the finite. I'll never forget, as a kid, walking down the street, peering into the windows of the houses that I would be passing on the sidewalk, and wondering if the people that I saw within that house would still be there after I looked away. Because, I mean, I couldn't have been more than, I don't know, maybe 9 years old at that point, because I didn't know any of those people. I had no way of knowing if they would still exist after I wasn't looking. So that's pretty much what this is speaking to here, in my view. In that act of looking, thinking, speaking, and writing, you collapse the infinite into the finite. You bring one possibility into existence while letting all others fade into the unseen. This is the great illusion that things are the way they are, unchangeable, immovable. The truth? There is no, quote, one reality. There is only an ocean of possibilities, and you are the current that shapes its flow. To be a quantum creator is to step beyond passive existence and choose the timeline you wish to inhabit. It is to recognize that your thoughts do not merely reflect reality, they construct it. Your words do not describe the world as it is, they summon it into being. Breaking free from the linear illusion. You have been taught to think in straight lines, that past leads to present, and present leads to future, that actions create consequence in a predictable, sequential order. Time is not linear. And as I'm reading this, I'm being shown me as a parent and all of the programming and conditioning that speaks to that that I installed in my child and that was also installed in me. There is no way around this for me. I cannot unsee that. Time is not linear. It is a vast, multidimensional construct unfolding in every direction at once. I'm reminded here of that movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and how that seems to, at this moment of now for me, have been a bit of disclosure in some way. You are not merely moving forward in time, you are selecting which version of the future you step into. Every thought is a fork in the road, every emotion a shift in frequency. Every word you speak or write is a ripple through the fabric of existence, altering the field of probabilities in ways beyond comprehension. To break free from the illusion of limitation, you must think beyond causality. What if the future creates the past as much as the past creates the future? What if your thoughts today are not just a product of past experiences, but echoes of future events calling you forward? What if your desires are not things you lack, but premonitions of realities that already exist, waiting for you to step into them? Time is not a river carrying you forward. It is an ocean, and you are the one choosing which waves to ride. The language of creation. Words are not passive tools of communication. They are vibrational keys, unlocking specific realities and closing off others. The structure of language itself determines the structure of perception, and perception dictates what is possible in your experience. And this is why I think I say it is a matter of perspective and your perception of your perspective. Both of those things are true at that moment, no matter what it is. So I'm going to read that again. The structure of language itself determines the structure of perception, and perception dictates what is possible in your experience. Most people speak reactively, describing reality as they see it. I know I do. I always, that's because that's what I've been taught. And learning how to practice it another way is what this is all about for me. Most people speak reactively, describing reality as they see it. The quantum creator speaks proactively, describing reality as they choose it to be. Do not say, I am trying to heal. Say, I am already whole. Do not say, I will one day be successful. Say, success is already encoded within me, unfolding now. Do not say, I hope for freedom. Say, I am the embodiment of limitless expansion. Every time you speak, you are reinforcing one version of reality over another. Oh, wow. I was just shown a conversation I had with a loved one where I said, well, that's not my truth. And I was reminded or told by that loved one that there is only one truth. And I now know that for myself, that's not so. That's just not the case in my reality, at least. which I can see right now that would, at least at that juncture, have been an issue. Every time you speak, you are reinforcing one version of reality over another. You are collapsing a wave function into form. True power comes when you go beyond linear speech and begin using paradoxical language, language that breaks conventional logic, language that opens doorways to higher dimensions. The mind resists paradox. The soul thrives in it. You are not separate from the future you seek. It is already part of you, waiting for recognition. You cannot desire something unless in some way you already possess it. You are both the creator and the creation, the dreamer and the dream, the question and the answer. When you speak in paradox, you bypass the limitations of the rational mind and enter a realm where multiple realities exist simultaneously. I think that's true. You dissolve mental blocks, allowing new possibilities to emerge. The fractal nature of thought. A single thought is not isolated. It is a fractal, a self-replicating pattern that expands outward, influencing everything it touches. And that's so true in our book club and here on both channels. You'll find in the playlist the handbook for the new paradigm. And in that book, we learned that thought thinks within itself. Having the thought is a frequential act of creation, and it does think within itself. That's so what's being said here, thought, a single thought is not isolated. It is a fractal, a self-replicating pattern that expands outward, influencing everything it touches. Every thought you think has a frequency, a resonance. When repeated, it strengthens itself, growing like the branches of a tree, sending ripples through the quantum field. The more you think a thought, the more reality bends itself to match its vibration. Oh, wow. I'm being shown something about my contemplative process. Okay, wow. You do not need to struggle to create change. You simply need to become the frequency of the change you wish to experience. If you want abundance, think abundance. Write abundance. Speak abundance. Not as something distant, but as something already present, already true. If you want love, radiate love. Write love into existence. Feel it as if it were inevitable. The universe does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only responds to frequency. The quantum act of writing. Writing is not just a means of recording thoughts. It is an act of creation. The written word is a bridge between the unmanifest and the manifest. The ancients knew this. That is why sacred texts were said to be infused with power. That is why spells were written before they were spoken. The act of inscribing something onto the physical plane is a declaration of its existence. Wow, that's pretty powerful right there. When you write, you are not merely capturing thoughts, you are anchoring realities. To write as a quantum creator, you must write from the future. Instead of journaling what has happened, write what will happen as if it already has. Let your words shape the timeline you desire. Use nonlinear structures. Break away from conventional storytelling. Write as if time is fluid. Let your words fold back on themselves. Create loops. Hint at multiple possibilities at once. Infuse your words with intention. Do not write passively. Feel the energy of what you are writing. Pour emotion into your words. Let them become living things that breathe reality into existence. When you write with conscious intent, your words take on a life of their own. They ripple through time, altering probabilities, shifting outcomes, bending the very fabric of the world around you. Stepping into the infinite, you are standing at the threshold of infinity. I remember when I was saying that, I felt as though I was standing on the edge of forever. I felt that so viscerally in the latter part of 2017 into 2018. Oh my word. Actually, there were several Facebook lives that I did in 2018 where I continually was saying that because I really was feeling that and not knowing anything about the why of it. Wow. You are standing at the threshold of infinity. Before you lies every possible reality that could ever exist. You are not bound by fate. You are not confined by limitations. You are the chooser, the creator, the one who decides which version of existence becomes real. So I ask you, what reality will you step into today? What words will you write into being? What thoughts will you allow to echo through eternity? The quantum field does not judge. It does not question. It only responds, and it is listening to you now. Jason Gray. Wow. This is pretty powerful stuff right here, Jason. I'm so glad that you're sharing it with us. Now, wow. It's just there are whole vistas opening up before me on this. I hope that I'd love to hear your comments about this below. Uh, ask yourself those questions, right? What words will you write into being? What thoughts will you allow to echo through eternity? If you care to share, share below. If you care to have a conversation about this very topic, I would love to hear from you. Conscious Conversation Central at gmail.com. Until we meet again, my friends, be well. And I actually hear this a lot on a reader's channel that I have paid attention to. Her name is Cindy, Awakening with Spirit. Cindy always says to be gentle with yourselves. And I love that because I am just now really learning how to be gentle with myself. So be gentle with yourself. realize that we have all been programmed and conditioned. As you work through that for yourself, or you create a new reality, be gentle with yourself. Till we meet again, be well.